Hi, this is Chantel McCarthy, and just a reminder, I am the freshman math teacher at Cheney High School. And a little bit background about us, before KESA was implemented 2 years ago, we started our strategic plan, and one of our goals was to focus on climate and culture. And the reason for that is because in the past decade at Cheney, there has been a drastic increase of students who qualify for free and reduced lunch. In the past it was 15%, and it's almost doubled to about 35%. So because of this goal, being in year one of KESA, we feel like that we are in the transitioning and modeling category for responsive culture. We've done a lot of things to improve that. One thing we've done is partnered with our local churches and several other things. But to move on to the second R, relationships, we feel like that we are modeling, transitioning, and needs improvement, or we show very little evidence. Where we feel like we're modeling is with our students. Where we feel like we're transitioning is with our community. And where we feel like there's not a lot of evidence would be with families and staff, and I'll talk more about why in the last question here. But for the third R, relevance, again, there are areas just like in relationships where we feel like we are modeling, but in some, no evidence in some components. And then the last one, rigor, we feel like this is our best category, and we feel like we are in the transitioning and modeling stage. My principal, I pretty much knew what kind of leadership style he had, and he confirmed it when we met, but he's definitely the democratic leadership type person. An example of this would be, well, there's been several examples where, he values our opinions and we get to share our input, but he ultimately has a final decision. An example of that would be when we had changed our schedule to give more opportunities to students when we were focusing on individualized plans of study. We wanted to be able to give kids more options in career path type classes. And so what we did in order to make this happen, we got together in our departments and collaborated. We were currently in a 4x4 block, so we were limited on the courses that our students could take, as well as being a smaller district. So when we reported back to our principal on our thoughts and ideas, we had heard through the grapevine that a 5x5 block was becoming pretty popular. However, a lot of teachers were against this because when we did the math, we would lose about 3 weeks of minutes with our students. So we weren't happy when our principal finally made the final decision to go with the 5x5, but again, he does have final say. At the same time, though, he did listen to our thoughts. My principal also does a great job with building relationships with the students, not only the students, but us and our community. I would say he's the most welcoming person you could ever come in contact with, especially with new people. Makes you really feel part of the Cheney community. And he also puts a lot of trust in his educators. One thing though is he doesn't really hold us accountable. Maybe he feels like he trusts that we're going to do what he says. The last part on here, talking about areas where we really need to improve. Number one would be relationships, component one, with staff, and specifically support for educators. The way I would address this goes along with standard 6B and standard 6C. Number one, I would put a plan together so that the mentor and mentee would meet on a regular basis. We do have a mentoring program, but there are no regular meetings to see how the new teacher is doing, if they need assistance or resources. There's nothing like that in place currently. And standard 6B talks about if you have staff turnover, You need to provide opportunities for effective induction and mentoring new personnel. Number two, other than having a regular meeting, I would also require training for first-year teachers. I remember when I was at Hayesville, they had the best mentoring program and a lot of extra and required training. And I remember doing the literacy first training, and it was really good. And then number two, where we really need improvement, is relevance on component 4 with our technology support. Cheney is a one-to-one school for the entire district. Our elementary kids currently have iPads. High schoolers have MacBooks, and middle school students have Chromebooks. And with that, we only have one technology personnel, and he's wonderful, but there's just way too much technology that breaks, or we need technology assistance, and one person cannot do the entire job. So this really fits in with another standard where just providing opportunities for professional learning collaboratively with faculty and staff. If we train some of our staff in this area, then I think, we could assist with our tech guy in helping each other. Other than that, the only other option I would do if we had the funds available is try to hire more tech support. So I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit about my school. Thanks.